In a peaceful forest, where giant trees touched the clouds and cool winds whispered through the leaves, there lived a tiny mouse named Leo. He was the smallest creature in the entire forest. His soft brown fur, bright black eyes, and gentle smile made him look harmless. But inside his tiny chest lived a brave and fearless heart. Sadly, no one believed in him. The rabbits laughed whenever they saw him. "You are too tiny to do anything important," they said. The squirrels mocked him too. "You can barely carry a nut. How could you ever help anyone?" Even the birds flying high above would chirp. "Small creatures like you do not matter." Every day, Leo heard these painful words. But instead of giving up, he quietly told himself, "One day, I will prove that courage is greater than size." Leo lived alone beneath an old oak tree near the river. Though he had very few friends, he always helped others with kindness. If a bird's egg fell from its nest, Leo would push it back uphill with all his strength. If a lost frog wandered too far from the pond, Leo would guide it safely home. But nobody noticed his kindness. To the forest animals, Leo was still weak, still tiny, still unimportant. Then, one terrifying evening, everything changed. A loud roar suddenly echoed through the forest. The ground trembled. Birds flew away in fear. Rabbits rushed into their burrows. Even the wolves and deer hid behind trees. A huge lion had escaped from a nearby village and entered the forest. He was hungry, angry, and confused. No animal dared to go near him. Later that night, the forest elders gathered near the river. The lion had become trapped in a hunter's net made from thick ropes. He could not escape. "If we leave him there, he will die," said the wise owl. "Then let him die," the fox replied coldly. "He is dangerous." Silence filled the forest. Finally, the bear asked, "Who is brave enough to help him?" No one answered. Then, from the back of the crowd, a tiny voice spoke. "I will go." Everyone turned in shock. It was Leo. For a moment, the forest exploded with laughter. "You?" shouted the rabbit. "You cannot even lift a leaf." But Leo's eyes were calm and fearless. "I may be small," he said softly, "but my heart is not." That same night, while the forest slept, Leo quietly made his way toward the river. The moonlight barely reached through the dark trees. Strange sounds echoed in the distance, and fear surrounded him from every side. Still, he kept walking. When Leo finally reached the riverbank, he saw the lion trapped beneath the heavy ropes. His golden mane was covered in dirt, and pain burned in his tired eyes. The lion saw Leo and roared furiously. The sound shook the trees. But Leo did not run. "I came to help you," he whispered. The lion growled angrily. "You? A tiny mouse wants to save a lion?" Leo climbed onto the thick ropes without saying another word. Using his tiny, sharp teeth, he slowly began chewing through the net. Bit by bit, thread by thread. Hours passed. His mouth burned with pain. His body became weak. Even blood appeared around his gums. But Leo refused to stop. He kept chewing, kept fighting, kept believing. Finally, as the first rays of sunlight touched the forest, the last rope snapped apart. The lion stood up, free at last. For a moment, he stared silently at the tiny mouse standing before him. Then the anger in his eyes disappeared. "You saved my life," the lion said quietly. Leo smiled weakly. "I told you," he replied. "Even the smallest creature can make the biggest difference." The mighty lion lowered his head with respect. "You are the bravest soul I have ever met." Together, they walked back toward the forest. The animals watched in complete shock as the great lion gently carried tiny Leo on his back. The mouse they once mocked had become a hero. From that day forward, nobody called Leo weak or useless again. His courage changed the entire forest. The animals finally understood that bravery is not measured by size or strength. It is measured by the heart. The lion became Leo's closest friend and protector, and everywhere the story spread, people repeated the same lesson. Be like Leo. Be kind. Be brave. Believe in yourself. Because sometimes, the world's greatest hero is the one nobody believes in. So whenever life tells you that you are too small, too weak, or too unimportant, remember Leo. Even the tiniest light can shine brightly enough to defeat the darkness.